Have you ever had something look exactly the way you wanted it to, but still not feel like you thought it would? Because that's something I've been thinking a lot about lately. There are a lot of runs where everything lines up. The snow looks right, the turns look clean, the footage even comes out the way you'd hope it would. And from the outside, it checks every box. But being in it and watching it later aren't always the same thing. And when you're riding, you're not thinking about any of that. You're just in it, you're reacting. You're adjusting. You're trying to stay loose, stay balanced, stay in control. And sometimes you find that rhythm, that flow where things start to connect, where you're not forcing anything, you're just letting it happen. But here's the part that no one really talks about. Just because it looks smooth doesn't always mean it felt that way. And just because it feels good in the moment doesn't always mean it holds up when you think about it. And that's where the questions really come in. Was it actually worth it? And not just the run, but everything surrounding it. The effort, the time, the travel, the expectations you built up before you even got there. Because sometimes what you imagine something will feel like ends up being better than it actually was. And sometimes it's exactly the opposite. Sometimes it's quieter, less dramatic, but more real. And I think that's where I've started to change the way I look at all of this. It's not chasing the perfect run anymore. It's not about trying to create something that looks a certain way. It's about understanding what it actually feels like to be there and being honest about it. Because if you're not careful, you start chasing a version of something that only exists in your head. And when it doesn't match up, something just feels off, even when everything looks right. So then the real question becomes, would you do it again? And not for the footage, not for the idea of what it's supposed to be, but for what it actually is. Because that's the difference between something that looks good and something that actually is worth doing. And sometimes the answer isn't a clear yes or no. Sometimes it's, yeah, but I'd do it differently. Maybe I'd take a different line. Maybe I'd slow it down. Maybe I'd just stop trying to force it into something it doesn't need to be. Because the more I do this, the more I realize it's not about the perfect version of the moment. It's about understanding the moment you're actually in, the moment you're actually having. You don't need perfect conditions, a perfect line, or even the perfect run. You just need to be able to look at what you did for what it actually was and decide, was it worth it? I'm Blair, and this is the Dirtbag Association, where our wax is old, our knees are older, but the stoke doesn't melt. See you on the mountain.
That is a pretty nice picture area.
I don't ask for too much.